It's my pleasure to introduce Affie Ellis. Her parents moved from the Navajo Reservation to Jackson Hole in the 1950s. She's currently a small business owner from Cheyenne and the first Native American elected to serve in the Wyoming Senate, where she plans to fight to strengthen Wyoming's education system and work to seek global solutions to Wyoming's economic problems. Recognized as a Wyoming Woman of Distinction by the University of Wyoming, it's only another 5 or so minutes. Recognized as a Wyoming Woman of Distinction by the University of Wyoming, Affie is a graduate of UW and the University of Colorado Law School. Tonight she presents From the Darkness. A big round of applause for Affie Ellis.
Thank you, and before the timer starts going on my slideshow, I just have to say I didn't build any time into my presentation to thank Wyoming Humanities and thank all my friends and loved ones and everyone in this room for being here to listen to these stories. So thank you so much. I just want to get that out there. With that, I'm ready. So Yatahe, my name is Affie Ellis. I am a Wyoming native, and I'm also Navajo. And for a lot of years, I had no idea what that meant. I knew that my parents had grown up on the Navajo Reservation, which is the largest land-based tribe in the country, located in the Four Corners area of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. Both of my parents attended Catholic schools on the reservation in an effort to help them assimilate to the dominant white world. Beginning in the late 1800s, our government advanced policies to assimilate Native kids, the idea being kill the Indian, save the man. Like many Native kids of that era, my parents were told to abandon their Native tongue, dress, custom, and beliefs. In their early teenage years of the 1950s, my parents were sent to the Intermountain Indian School in Brigham City, Utah, where they met and they eventually got married. My dad, handsome fella, is the son of a well-known and renowned Navajo silversmith. And so educators thought that he would be good at welding. And indeed, they were right. My dad is an expert welder. He got a job in Jackson Hole after he graduated, where he started and still runs his own small business, Jim's Welding Shop. In many ways, he's still quite a bit of a legend to himself. And there's my mom. Isn't she beautiful? She learned how to do laundry and how to raise a family. She and my dad have 4 kids. My brother Jimmy, born in 1957, my sister Jo Vern, born in 58, and my sister Phyllis, who is in the audience, so I won't tell you how old she is. And then there was me, born in 1978. I am the baby of the family. Growing up Navajo in a resort town like Jackson wasn't easy. Although we attended Catholic Mass, my family still held on to some of their cultural practices and beliefs. When I started school, my mom, drawing on her own boarding school experiences, told me not to tell anyone that I was Navajo. She said that people weren't always nice to Indians. And she was right. Somehow my classmates found out about my heritage. In kindergarten, during Thanksgiving, our teacher had us make pilgrim hats. During recess, kids chased me around the playground shouting, "You can't be a pilgrim, you're an Indian." I was 5 years old, I was afraid, and I was crying, and I was embarrassed, and I hid under the slide on the playground. So throughout the rest of my school years, I tried to hide. I told people I was Italian to explain my dark skin. I studied hard so people would think I was smart and not some dumb Indian. I wanted desperately to blend in with the rich, popular kids who took spring break trips to exotic places like Jamaica. My spring breaks, by contrast, included me helping my mom out at a dry cleaner where she worked, or helping her clean rooms at a motel, one of her side jobs. Looking back, my parents and family gave me an amazing childhood, but deep down inside, I was miserable. I didn't know who I was, and my world felt pretty dark. Darkness. We've all been through dark times. For some of us, we stay in the dark for too long because we don't know how to get out. For me, getting out of the dark meant understanding what it meant to be Indian, to be Navajo, to shed some light on the past that my parents didn't want to talk about. Religions often use this metaphor, talking about escaping darkness and getting into the light. Navajo religion is no different, I've come to know, and there are many similarities to Catholicism. Navajo creation begins with beings that journey from a world of darkness and transcend through 4 worlds to a world of light. The inhabitants of the first or dark world included holy people, coyotes, insects, first man, and first woman. These beings then journeyed through to the second or blue world, which was inhabited by furred mammals, various types of bluebirds. However, the inhabitants of this world offended the head chief of the second world, and the chief asked them to leave, and they were exiled. The beings then journeyed to the third or yellow world, and a great flood eventually drove these beings out of this world. They then traveled to the fourth or white world, which was occupied by monsters. In this world, a central figure in Navajo religion named Changing Woman came to be. Similar to Catholic belief of Immaculate Conception, Changing Woman became pregnant with twin boys, referred to as the hero twins. Drawing on comparisons to Greek mythology, however, we later learn that the father of the boys is the sun. So the twins embarked on a journey to meet their father and to prove their kinship. After proving themselves, the sun equipped the twins with weapons to defeat monsters in the white world. With the help of the wind, lightning, and a rainbow, the twins killed Big Monster, who was the worst monster of all. After slaying all the other enemy monsters, though, the twins returned their weapons to the sun, and who asked to meet with Changing Woman. The sun, we find, wanted Changing Woman to be his own. But she's a smart lady, so she demanded a few things from the sun, such as a home, animals to live with, and gems like turquoise. The sun asked why he should provide these things, and she said something pretty powerful. She said, "You are of the sky, and I am of the earth. You are a constant in your brightness, but I must change with the seasons. As different as we are, there must be solidarity between us. There can be no harmony in the universe unless there is harmony between us." So the sun granted her wish, allowing Navajos to live in harmony. So this legend got me thinking about monsters. Who are the monsters in your life? I used to think that the kids who chased me around on the playground were monsters, or the loudmouths who called my dad chief, or worse, my mama squaw. But the older I got, the more I realized that the real monsters were the ones that actually lived inside me. I let other people make me feel inferior. For me, learning about my family and embracing what it meant to be Indian gave me courage, and it gave me peace. We recently found a whole bunch of pictures of my grandmother and great-grandmother, and you may see a resemblance. I look a lot like my grandmother, and that makes me happy. And it makes me think about who I am now that I am a mom and I have my own kids. My husband is in the audience. I want to thank Dennis for being here and being such a rock of support. He grew up in a sheep ranching family in Casper, Wyoming, and we have 3 beautiful kids. We have 2 daughters and a son. 4 years ago, my oldest child started kindergarten, and I thought about my mother's advice, and that memory of being chased on the playground washed over me. I had different advice for my daughter, though, and it was this: be who you are. I can't give my kids a world without monsters, though I try. Sometime someone will judge my kids for looking too Indian or acting too Indian, or maybe not looking or acting Indian enough. The best I can do is give them weapons so that they can slay their own monsters, and only then can they live in harmony. Thank you so much.